Wasabi powers will break the game. We got a new limited time ability called Wasabi powers, and will be only active in certain event slots. There are 60 unique ones, with some of them being similar to their mutation. So let's cover every single one of them. Starting off with the hot ones, we got Angelo, who throws 3 arrows with each attack, essentially tripling his damage output. Up close, he can deal 12k damage, which is insane. Spike's cactus curves even longer on every attack. It's almost impossible to dodge it. Shelly fires her super in every direction and can open up the map instantly. Brock's rockets leave a huge fire area behind, so now he can cover even more space. Colt gets an increased range and basically becomes a sniper, but also his attacks can destroy the environment. Sprout has an interesting one. With each bounce of his main attack, he deals damage. It has some weird interactions, but this one looks pretty fun and allows Sprout to deal tons of damage. Edgar's super jump is way longer, and he travels faster too. You can do some cool plays with this, so now Edgar will be pretty toxic to play against. Rosa will spawn bushes with every attack, but it's just a small bush. She also allows teammates to see enemies in bushes. Looks like Pam's hypercharge concept became her Wasabi power. Her turret now overheals her, giving her a decaying shield. Combined with her hyper, she gets a crazy 5k health shield. Eve will now be spawning hatchlings each time she gets hit. Charlie spawns spiders every few seconds. Sadly, you can't have her gadget spiders active at the same time, and neither her hyper spiders, but this looks pretty annoying to play against. 8-Bit can have more than one turret, and after some testing, he can have up to 6 active at the same time, covering almost the whole map. You can also have hyper towers. Bull charges his super over time, but also way faster, so now he can literally spam it non-stop. Gus drops spirits with every single attack, meaning you can stack up many balloons and just pop them for massive damage. Meeple fires 3 projectiles that home in way more. You basically can't miss anymore. Terra spawns shadows every time she uses her super, and you get this army of shadows if you use her gadget, which looks broken. Jean's super now home in way more so. If you still miss your pulls, it is a skill issue. Lily can bounce her super on walls, but the only difference to her hyper is that she doesn't send the enemy to the Shadow Realm. You can combine her bounce with her hyper to enter the Shadow Realm. Pearl's attacks do not consume any heat, so now you can cook your enemies endlessly. Moving to the extra hot powers, Lola will spawn 2 egos with every super, and they also can be hypercharged and have the same health and damage. And the same power has Nita 2 with 2 bears, which was actually a feature when she was in beta. Penny also gets the same power, and she can deal 4,800 damage with each turret, which will melt the enemy. Crow's attacks now boomerang and return back to him, dealing damage both ways, similar to how his hyper works. Bo can have unlimited mines. Gray can now pull every enemy around him when entering his portals. This looks very strong, and we will have to see how will it work in real games. Just look at this. I've pulled everything around me. El Primo now jumps faster and can charge his super way quicker. Hank's mutation is back. His power is exactly the same as his old mutation. Belle's attack now split on impact. This one is pretty good on grouped up enemies. Leon does a clone jutsu when using super and summons clones of himself that also damage the enemy. You can have up to 6 clones in unrealistic scenarios. Buzz will have more health, charge his super way faster, but also his torpedo range is way bigger, basically covering the whole training map. Barley's attacks last way longer, dealing double the damage. Jesse's turret fires more projectiles, has more HP, and is bigger. In Hyper, it is even bigger. Barry leaves an ice cream trail behind him that deals 600 damage, and I forgot to see if this heals, but I'm pretty sure it heals too. Ollie will have more HP and can hypnotize enemies for longer. In the Crazy Hot category, B will get a B when using her attacks, and that B goes around B, similar to how B's gadget works. Stu will fire in every direction every time you dash. You can only imagine what happens when in hyper. They run out of creativity and gave Max the most basic power ever, unlimited ammo. Tick somehow spawns 3 heads when he has one. Supercell explained to us, that one. This is broken! Frank has more health, faster movement speed, and every attack destroys walls. Basically his old mutation. Speaking of old mutation, look who is back. And Poco is activating his healing gadget every time he gets hit. And Ruff's toxic power is back with triple shots and more bounces. Ash gets an army of rats in Combine with his hyper. This game is now Moko? Piper will be shooting 2 projectiles in one shot. And Shade can activate her super every time she lands her center shot. This doesn't seem to extend her super, but definitely a fun power. Mortis's long dash now spawn bats that deal 1500 damage, and probably heal him too. Mr. P gets even more suitcases at the end of his attacks, and looks like those suitcases can deal quite a bit of damage. Byron fires 3 shots with each attack like his gadget, and Mo's dash is way faster and his drill form lasts for longer. Moving on to the Inferno powers, we got Meg who gets increased range to her main attacks that make her a sniper. Surge reaches max level with 1 super, and his reload speed is greatly increased. Rico's mutation is back and we got insanely bouncy balls everywhere. Amber leaves a trail of oil behind her, but also she shoots 2 fires, essentially doubling her damage output. Colette now fires shots to the sides when using her super that deal minimal damage. Fang gets more health, more range to his super, but also a faster supercharge. Basically a way buffed version of Fang. Juju's pet has more health and is way bigger and creepier. Sphinx has permanently active his super, and it follows him around, and it will be impossible to hit him. Draco gets mounted to his dragon form once he activates super, and only gets out when defeated. And lastly, Kenji gets a super fast reload speed. If you activate his gadget, he can dash like Mortis, and it is going to be pretty hard to take him down. You can unlock these powers from the new Sushi Gacha, and if you open 200 of them, you get this skin for free.
I'm here to slay, not to play.
These powers don't look as game-breaking as mutations, but there are still some strong ones, and it is pretty funny how Griff is forgotten once again.